When you talk about strong leadership, does Joe Biden really come to mind? No, you think about the botched withdrawal from Afghanistan. You think about Russia doing what it's going to do in Ukraine. And of course, you think about Joe Biden wandering around stage at the G7 summit. So of course, everyone can see this. And this, of course, is why Donald Trump is leading in the polls, specifically since the debate. Yes, Donald Trump has doubled his lead in the general election since having that debate. Down here you can see that, yes, Trump jumped from a 1.5 lead average over Joe Biden to a 3.2 lead average. This is truly good news because everyone is recognizing that, hey, who do you want to be president? The weak guy who doesn't know where he is and can't talk for 5 minutes, or the guy who actually exudes strength? And speaking of exuding strength, I do want to focus today on a couple of examples of why Donald Trump is an excellent leader. Let's check this out.
Go ahead, Wesley, you go. You can talk. I'm gonna give you my favorite my favorite President Trump story. This is my #1 favorite of all time. When we were negotiating with the Taliban, while President Trump was still the president, President Trump wanted to get out of Afghanistan, but he wanted a conditions-based withdrawal, meaning that you do what we tell you to do, and then we will start pulling troops back slowly as long as you abide by our rules. It's President Trump and Mike Pompeo, and they are talking to Taliban leadership in the room, and they had one translator in the room. President Trump looked at the Taliban leader and said this: I want to leave Afghanistan, but it's going to be a conditions-based withdrawal. And translator translated. And he said, if you harm a hair on a single American, I'm going to kill you. And the translator goes, and Trump goes, tell him.
Yes.
Tell him what I said. Tell him what I said. Reached in his pocket, pulled out a satellite photo of the leader of the Taliban's home and handed it to him.
Shut up.
Got up and walked out the room.
Sure did.
Do you know for 18 months not a single American was killed in Afghanistan?
Sure did.
That's the definition of strength. That's what I'm talking about. And so you could imagine that kind of sentiment being around the world. If we have an embassy in another country, no one's going to touch it because they're going to be fearful that they'll get a Moab on their head. That's how President Trump rolls.
There was a reason why Trump basically had world peace during his presidency. There's a reason that Kim Jong-un did not act up. There's a reason why Russia did not advance. You hear the story about Donald Trump going up to Putin and saying, hey, we're going to bomb Moscow if you get out of line, okay? There's a reason why these bad actors around the world were not acting up under Donald Trump, and that was strength. That was true leadership. He's going to do what is necessary to protect this country and its interests around the world. And notice he did not get us into any new wars, right? Truly amazing. That is true strength. Now juxtapose that against Joe Biden. What's happening under his watch? Oh, Kim Jong-un is back to launching missiles. Russia, of course, invades Ukraine. China, of course, taking over ships around Taiwan. There's a reason this is happening now under Biden, because Biden is just weak and he has no natural leadership ability. But also real leadership means actually trying to fix problems, not trying to put a Band-Aid on something. So check this out.
There has been an unexplained and alarming growth in the prevalence of chronic illnesses and health problems, especially in children. We've seen a stunning rise in autism, autoimmune disorders, obesity, infertility, serious allergies, and respiratory challenges. It's time to ask, what is going on? Is it the food that they eat, the environment that we live in, the overprescription of certain medications? Is it the toxins and chemicals that are present in our homes? Every year we spend hundreds of billions of dollars to treat these chronic problems rather than looking at what is causing them in the first place. Too often our public health establishment is too close to Big Pharma. They make a lot of money, Big Pharma, big corporations and other special interests, and does not want to ask the tough questions about what is happening to our children's health. If Big Pharma defrauds American patients and taxpayers or puts profits above people, they must be investigated and held accountable. When I'm back in the White House, I will establish a special presidential commission of independent minds who are not bought and paid for by Big Pharma, and I will charge them with investigating what is causing the decades-long increase in chronic illnesses. I understand Big Pharma, I believe, better than anybody else. I know where they're coming from. And then I will ask them to publish recommendations for how every American child can have a safe and healthy childhood. This is a conversation that is long overdue, and it's a conversation that American families deserve. American families must have this conversation, and they must have a leader, a president, who can do something about this problem. And I will do that.
Trump is not interested in band-aids. Trump is interested in finding solutions. That's something he's actually been famous for, okay? Not just going to throw money at a problem, expect it to be solved or go away, all right? We're going to actually launch studies and investigations into what is causing all of these problems. Now, of course, this is actually what's caused RFK Jr. to have a spike in popularity, because he's come out and talked heavily about vaccines and vaccine mandates and freedom of speech and things like that. So even though he's a leftist, he's actually gained a foothold among Republicans, among people who are right-leaning. And now you can think whatever you want about vaccines, but it's okay to actually have that conversation. It's okay to question them. And actually, it's okay to study it as well. You'd think that would make the most sense. But of course, it's the naysayers out there who say, oh, you're just being conspiratorial. You're totally off the rails on this. Why can't we just have a conversation about it? The truth will come out if we're allowed to discuss and study. So, of course, let that happen. And that's where you can see Donald Trump once again being a true leader, actually trying to solve problems for Americans and problems that other people are unwilling to let you even talk about or discuss, okay? Now, lastly, we got to have Donald Trump, of course, being a bull in a china shop. So let's check this out.
What did I do with the debate the other night?
Oh,
He kicked that old broken down pile of crap.
Yeah.
It's a bad guy. He just quit, you know. He's quitting the race. Is that right? Yep, I got him out of the race. And that means we have Kamala. I think she's going to be better. She's so bad. She's so pathetic.
It's so amazing.
It's just so fucking bad. So,
I just can't imagine.
but can you imagine that guy dealing with Putin and the president of China, who's a fierce person? He's a fierce man, a very tough guy. And they see him, they can't. But they just announced he's probably quitting.
Good.
Okay?
Yeah, that's amazing.
You just keep knocking him out, huh?
Now, many people would say, oh, that's Donald Trump not being very presidential. And I'd say that's Donald Trump in a candid moment being very honest, all right? He calls Joe Biden a piece of crap and Kamala Harris just effing awful. She's the worst, all right? He's acknowledging that, yes, he destroyed Joe Biden at the debate and everyone in the world saw it in real time. And this is what people tend to love about Donald Trump as well. They love how he's willing to stand up and get in the face of the opposition. For far too long, Republicans have been just so weak-willed, weak-kneed, weak in general, refusing to stand up for the party and for America, right? They want to be controlled opposition because they still want to be popular among all the leftist elites in the mainstream media, etc., okay? But this is what true strength looks like, and I love it. And this, of course, is why Donald Trump is leading in the polls. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and stay safe out there, people, because they're coming after you.